Alexis's Clark point of view. Sometimes life gives you many reasons to let go and die, to ease out all the tension and sufferings that you've been going through. But you still hold on to that one thing that keeps you going amidst all these sufferings. It was the same with me too. I was also holding on to that one thing that kept me going. Mate, a mate that I knew will love me and end all my sufferings with his enormous love. A mate that will love me so much that not mind my worst disability. I am a lantern, a werewolf with no wolf, ever since I was found unable to shift. I have been living the life of a relegated person in the pack. There has not been a single day when I am not beaten by the pack members. My family hates me like plaque and would do anything to have me discarded. Yeah, why wouldn't they? Being a lantern wasn't something to be proud of, or that's what they have been telling me. I still remember that dreadful day, as if it happened last night. Flashback. Can you imagine? Beta's daughter doesn't have a wolf? My. This is such a piece of news. I wonder what that proud Beta will do now. The pack members murmured with contempt. You freak. Why wouldn't you turn into a wolf? All of a sudden, a heavy slap landed on my face, making me stumble as I fell on the hard pavement. Dad. Please. I am your daughter. I couldn't even finish my words as I felt a strong kick in my stomach, and the awful sound of the bones crunching echoed in the air. It was painful. But the hatred in his eyes hurt me more. How can I have such a daughter? If I knew you were going to be like this, I would have killed you as soon as you came in my hands. He shouted before kicking me again and again. Father, please, believe me. I started before coughing blood. I looked up when he stopped. Coming face to face with my sister, a ray of hope ignited inside me as I thought she might help me. Well. She came closer. I thought she would pull me up. But she just looked down at my face. I kept looking at her expectantly until she spat at me. What are you, sister? They call you Beta's daughter too. But what kind of Beta's daughter are you? The daughter with no wolf. She scoffed. That's ridiculous. Look at yourself. You are nothing but a fucking Omega. I am so ashamed of you. Don't you ever call me sister again. You dirty, ugly creature. She kicked me and walked away like I am just a speck of dirt she couldn't care about. My throat was too dry to make a sound. I turned to my mother with my last hope. I am sure she would help me and convince Dad for me. However, it felt like my heart was pricked by a needle when I saw her eyes full of disappointment. I caught a sympathy flashing through her cold eyes. But honestly, I am not so sure if that was only my imagination, or not because she looked away so soon and never looked at me again. You wench! Get out of this pack and never come back. I wish you would die. My father rushed over, roaring. He grabbed me by the throat, pulled me up, and dropped me to the ground. Please! My eyes started watering. However, he cut my words off while pressing on my neck, blocking the windpipe as if trying to break it. The metallic taste of blood instantly filled my mouth, making me want to vomit my guts out. My vision started to blur. Then, I heard his voice. Fuck off. A roar with pressure, so powerful that it caused everyone to hold their breath. A strong figure rushed through the crowd to my side before separating my father away from me. What the hell do you think you are doing? He stared at my father angrily. I saw through my tears. It was him, the son of the Alpha, Brandon. She stays, he said with an ice-cold voice. Those were the last 2 words I have heard before I blacked out. End of flashback. Shaking my head to get out of my personal fantasy land. I looked at Brandon before rolling my eyes. Just what the hell was he doing with these slices of bacon? Murdering, maybe? Oh, come on, Brandon. You suck at this job. Let me do this. Okay. I laughed at Brandon's useless attempt of making himself and me something to eat. Whatever. Omega. Just get this over with. I don't want us to get late for school, he said, scoffing and going out of the kitchen. Well, you must be surprised how Brandon, the heir to Alpha, showed up in our kitchen. I confess. Brandon didn't come here for me. Even though years ago he defended me in front of everyone and protected me from getting kicked out of our pack. But then, instead of being my Prince Charming, as all the fairy tales would end like that. He became my sister's boyfriend. Guess what? My sister saw me crushing on him, and just like any other normal bitch, she decided to ruin my love interest for me, although I was an omega without a wolf. My elder sister had a wolf, and thus, she became the pride of my parents. As the acknowledged beta's daughter, Brandon was naturally attracted to her. Their relationship got blessed by all of the pack members. The golden couple, as that's what they called them. However, I still can't stop my crush on Brandon. I still secretly dream of him as my hero. Well, until I find my mate, of course. Yeah. A hero that already has his heroine. A voice came from my head. Shut up, conscience. Let me live a little, will you? I barked back at my conscience, that usually finds every possible opportunity to crash my imagination. It has been a measure hindrance between me and my fantasy for a few months now. Sometimes, it even makes me question my sanity. I guess the breakfast is ready? Brandon walked in the kitchen again. He came out of my sister's room with a strangely satisfied look on his face just now. I can tell what happened between them. Here you go. I swallowed my jealousy and placed the food in front of him. This is so good. God, you've no idea how much I love your cooking. When it comes to food, it's like I can't control myself, he said, moaning after taking a few bites, his moans making me blush. How much I wish it was me who would make him moan like this. With his arms wrapped around my torso while we entangle in each other's embrace, and love blooming. Hello? Are you there? I asked if you needed a ride to the school. It's 8 already, and I don't think with your clumsy self, you'll be able to reach there in time, he said, making me smile at his thoughtfulness. It isn't thoughtfulness. He is making fun of you, sweetheart. My conscience interrupted again, making me roll my eyes at it. That's fine. Mark is picking me up. He said something about talking about some matter regarding my position. Looks like I need to lie again. I huffed, whispering the last part. Mark. What does he need with you now? Brandon asked, his angry stance confusing me. Didn't I say it just now? Something about my position in the pack. I replied before taking a piece of pancake and putting it in my mouth. Mark is the son of the council's head, and had been talking more like annoying me about my position in the pack for the last 2 years. Whenever I asked why they were so worried about me, all I would get in reply was because I was one of those rare people who didn't change into a wolf, and they wanted to make sure that I was treated nicely in the pack. I know they were just trying to take care of me, but was it helpful? Well, this Mark guy is suspicious. Wasn't he here last week too? Why does he keep appearing? Brandon asked with a nonchalant look, though I could still feel the traces of anger in his voice. I don't know. He is doing what the council head tells him to do. Maybe he doesn't have a choice himself, or why would he come so far just to check on me? I replied, making Brandon frown more than he already was. So now you are defending him? Brandon said, standing angrily. Wait, what? Hey, when did I defend him? I am just stating facts, and besides. The rest of my words were cut off when he stormed out of the house with an angry look. Well, that was weird. I don't know if it's just me, but I think Brandon has been acting a bit too protective of me since last year. Or maybe it's just my wishful thinking. He is the alpha. Of course he would take care of his pack and people. Shrugging my shoulders, I placed the dishes into the sink before picking them up in my bag. One more day. Full of lies. Honestly, it was thoughtful for the council to check up on me every week. But it wasn't like I would be telling the truth anyway. How am I supposed to tell them that the people who are supposed to love me and cherish me hate me because I didn't turn into a wolf? How can I tell them that my family, who should have been the one to stand by me and protect me from all this bullying, loathes me? I can't risk them finding out about it, or they will kick me out of the pack, and the only chance and little hope of me getting my parents' love back will be snatched away from me. I got bullied. It was no big deal for me. Luckily, even though I didn't change into a wolf, I pretty much have some powers of being a werewolf. Maybe because I have werewolf genes on me, even though they are not developed. One of those powers is healing. I am very glad to have this power, or the council head would have found out about me getting bullied by my own family after I turned 14. And there's one day that my father had almost killed me, saying I am a disgrace to the family and pack. Though Brandon came forward for me on that day, he was only the son of Alpha, and did not have the full power of control all over the pack. It was still hard for me to continue to live in the pack after being saved by him. Luckily, my parents got the notification of the council head coming the next day to meet me, or I am sure I would have died that day only. That was the first time my mom had talked to me like that, and also the last time she looked at me with sympathy, sighing at the sad memories. I smiled to improve my mood, hearing the loud honking of the car, indicating that Mark was here. I quickly checked my reflection one last time before exiting the house. "Hey," I breathed at the handsome wolf. "Hey, princess," he said, making me smile. Mark was my second crush, like a celebrity crush. I like the way he carries himself with so much calmness, and is always so polite paired with his handsome self. After Brandon, he was the only guy who had treated me like a normal person, and not a person with a wolf disability. Looking at his blonde hair that was out of place, I evened them with a smile, widening my eyes when I realized what I did just now. "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I started but was cut off by Mark's laughter. "It's okay, babe. Let's get you to school first." "Yeah. And in the meantime, you can tell me how your week was and if someone troubled you," Mark said, with a serious look, making me look down in shame, because I know I'll be lying to him again. Everything was fine. There was this one time when I got locked in the school's class accidentally, because I slept in my last substitute class. And since I was sitting in the farthest corner, no one noticed me. Luckily, Brandon, who was going to give me a ride back home, searched for me and saw me locked, or I would have spent my whole day and night locked in there. "Other than that, nothing serious happened," I said, lying through my teeth, hiding the fact that I was almost beaten black and blue before I was locked by the girls who were jealous that I got along with Brandon, that included my sister. "Yeah?" Mark said, looking at my way with a quirky brow. I don't know why I feel like it, but every time I lie to him, it feels like he can see right through my lies but chooses to stay quiet. I said, not wanting to say any more. "That's good that the to-be alpha is righteous enough. You tell me, what do you want as your birthday gift?" "Ain't today your birthday?" Mark asked. "Of course. How can I forget that today was my birthday? The same day that turned my life upside down 4 years back." He was probably the only person who knew or remembered that today was my birthday. Say my thanks to the council head, but the rest of my words got stuck in my mouth when Mark stopped the car with a loud screech. "Who said I am asking about it from my dad's side? It's all me. He doesn't even know I am here today. I just wanted to see you and make sure that you don't feel alone on your birthday," Mark said, leaning towards me, making me widen my eyes at his proximity. The smile on his face was so pleasant and inviting that I wanted to hit myself for thinking otherwise. Sometimes I think he should indeed go for modeling. I stumbled, not knowing what to say with his proximity. "Here, I have a gift for you." It's kind of relief to me when Mark smiled at me and handed me a box with a ribbon bow on it, as I was still busy in my thoughts. Mark kissed my cheek, making my eyes go wide for real this time. "Open it when you feel like there's no one by your side. No matter what, I am and will always be there by your side to protect you. That's a promise I am intending to make, Princessa," he said before leaning back in his seat. Looking at the box with a ribbon bow on it, I nodded one last time, before noticing we were standing out of the school grounds. "I'll be going now," I murmured before exiting the car, smiling slightly as this was the first present, and maybe the only present I have and will receive on my birthday. Alexis's Clark point of view, dazed by what happened in the car. I walked inside the school. My head hung low as always. "Hey, look, the Omega is here. Jesus. See, her cheeks are so red. Don't know what the slut has been up to. Haha. Maybe trying to snatch someone's mate to improve her position in the pack. What a bitch. Looks like a tomato to me, I guess. Brittany would like to have some fun with her today. She won't. She is busy with Brandon in that empty classroom." I heard various whispers around me, the last one catching my attention. It hurts me. I don't know why, but from the moment Brandon has taken a stand for me in front of the whole pack, it's like my feelings for him have been triggered. Whenever I think about him being with another female, all I feel is hurt and betrayal, which I know is the dumbest thing for me. What I hate the most is that it's Brittany he is with. Brittany, my sister, was no better. That day 1 year back on the birthday of Brandon, when he took a stand for me, she was pissed. I could see it in her eyes. And just like how she is, to make my life worse, she started wooing Brandon. Even after knowing that I have a crush on him. Yeah, that's how twisted her way of thinking is. She wanted to ruin me completely with no hope of happiness left. However, I do think that it's wrong of me to think about Brandon in that way. I have a mate out there who is probably waiting for me, and here I am falling and feeling for other wolves. Was I seriously a hormonal lantern? Sitting inside the classroom in the furthest corner, I dazed out of the classroom, waiting for the school to be over. It was like a daily routine for me. Come to school, wait for the school to end, and bear with anyone's bullying. If they are in a mood for some fun, after 8 hours of gruesome waiting, the school was finally over. And I couldn't be any happier. It was 3 in the afternoon already, and to make my day special, I had already decided on the venue this time. I have spent all my last 3 birthdays cooped up in the room. But not today. This birthday was special for me. I was turning 18 today. An age that is special for all the wolves out there. It was time for me to find my mate. My other half. The person who is bound to love me and cherish me regardless of the faults in me. This is also the reason why I want to live. I want to live because I know the day I'll meet my mate, everything will change. My life will be filled with happiness, love, and care. After reaching home, I went straight to my room, wanting to get ready and dress up prettily for my mate. It wasn't like you were supposed to find your mate on this day only. Once you become of age, you can find your mate anytime. However, the chances of finding your mate today are the highest. Dressing nicely in a champagne-colored dress and curling my long light brown hair, I wore my favorite earrings and nude sandals. Looking at the gift from Mark, I was tempted to open it. However, knowing that it might have some side effects since I could feel the warning in his tone that time, I discarded the idea of opening it and seeing what was inside. Checking my reflection in the mirror one last time, I exited my room to go into the forest where I was planning to spend my birthday. I had only 1 hour left till I'll turn 18. Smiling as the excitement was building up inside me, I rushed down the stairs, bumping into quite a few guys who looked at me with amazing eyes. Wow, I can't believe it. The Omega is so beautiful. Alexis? Was that Alexis? I heard Brandon's gasped voice as I exited the pack house. I'll go talk to him later. Right now, it was important for me to reach my spot. After crossing the lake and going inside the cave to the other area of the mountain, I rushed to reach the place. A place that was my secret since nobody knew about it as it was hidden by some rocks and bushes. Sitting beside the pond, I looked at the locket that my grandmother had given me. It was crystal blue and green with hints of yellow in it. Nobody knew about it, and my grandmother had warned me to not tell anyone about it, not even my family. She had given me this antique when she was taking her last breath 6 years ago. I had sneaked into the hospital to meet her, and that was the time when she gave this locket necklace to me. It was 6:55 already. This is so exciting. The excitement was eating at me. What will he look like? The questions were appearing like a tornado. Honestly, I don't care about what he looks like. I will give him all the love he will demand from me. I will cherish his love and will never betray him. As the clock struck 7:01, I immediately closed my eyes to feel any pleasant scent around me, trying for what felt like an eternity, and had been only 10 minutes. I opened my eyes abruptly when I didn't get anything or any weird scent. Looks like my mate wasn't in this pack. Or maybe not here at the moment, sighing with dejection as I wanted to meet my mate today. I ate the food that I had prepared for myself to celebrate my birthday. Once I was done with my food, I packed up my things, standing to go back to the pack house. Maybe it's because I am a lantern that I wasn't able to smell his scent. Who will you smell if you come so many kilometers away from civilization? You've been hiding here where nobody ever came, and you expect to smell your mate's scent here. My conscience remarked, making me roll my eyes at myself. As I've said, it finds every possible opportunity to crush my imaginations and hopes. But this time, it was indeed right. Walking out of the cave and crossing the lake, I started moving out of the deep forest, and that's when I smelled it. The pleasant smell. It smelled like chocolate with a mixture of wood and cinnamons, feeling ecstatic that my mate was present in the pack house, which meant he was a part of the pack. I practically ran inside the house. The smell was coming from here somewhere. Gazing upstairs, I half closed my eyes to feel the scent and let my foot follow my senses, opening my eyes when I stepped outside of the room. I squinted my brows when I noticed whose room it was. Brandon? Maybe my mate is talking to Brandon. Or is one of his friends. Or maybe you're just plain stupid. My conscience commented though. It was as exciting as me to find out the truth, rolling my eyes and ignoring it like I always do. I pushed the door open to meet my mate. However, what met my eyes not only shocked me to my core, but made me paralyzed in my steps for a few seconds. There was my mate having sex with another female. Alexis's Clark point of view. Mate, I don't know what hurt me the most. The fact that my mate was having pleasant sex with my sister right in front of me, or the fact that he probably knew I was his mate from 1 year ago. As long as I remember, he had turned 18 last year, which means he knew I was his mate, but he still chose to ignore the mate bond and get along with my sister. Now that I think about it, all his possessiveness, protectiveness, and care for me suddenly make sense. It was like all the pieces of puzzles were finally falling back in place. Looks like it was all his guilty conscience. So what now? He rejects me. For what? Because I was an Omega. Or because of my sister. I couldn't help but shiver at the thought of it. I was the hated wolf of the pack. No one likes me because I was a lantern. Now that I will be mateless and rejected by the 2B Alpha, I am sure everyone will loathe me more than ever. And my dad, he will kill me. Even the council head won't want to interfere anymore. If my pack says I was killed in a rogue attack because I was a mateless she-wolf without a wolf, I was weak. That's what they have always called me. And maybe that's what I was. Well, shut up with your self-loathing and get this over with. I need to mourn over my lost mate too. Now with your pathetic self-loathing, what am I supposed to do? Mourn over my loss or cradle you? My conscience shouted at me. And for once, I didn't find it annoying. It was soothing. My conscience was right. Now was not the time to mourn and self-loathe me for what I don't have. Now was the time for taking some action, as if they smelled my scent out of the room. The door of the room was jerked open, and may I bring it to your notice that I was leaning on the door. Yes, I was. And I pathetically made a joke out of myself when I almost fell on my butt. If not for the door's knob that I took the support of at the last second. What are you doing here, bitch? I heard the ever-so-lovely greeting of my sister Brittany. However, this time I wasn't going to take her shit lightly. I was done with this pack and its filthy people, and more importantly, its filthy alpha. I don't know if it was all because I was hurt and knew I would be rejected, or because there was a strong sense of betrayal in my veins, but I was feeling a strong surge of energy in my bones. An anger that I've never felt before. I am not here to talk to you, bitch. So you should move aside, because if I throw you out, it will be really painful. I retorted back at my sister for the first time, and the shock in her eyes was visible and understandable. Well, it sounded good, even to me. My moment of happiness was cut short when I saw her hand about to slap me, however. Before her hand could reach me, I kicked her in the abdomen, and I must say, with her contorted face, it must have hurt like hell. Besides the fact that Brandon was ravishing her a few minutes ago, she must be feeling sore already. Well, that reminds me of Brandon, looking at my mate, who was looking at me with an apologetic look. I wanted to smash his face but chose not to, because I didn't want to get my hands dirty. From his expression, it was clear that he understood what I know. I know that he is my mate, and that he has been cheating on me for quite some time now. How could you? I asked the question that I had been wanting to ask since the moment I saw him banging my sister. Alexis, you. Brittany started again. However, I was in no mood for her drama at the moment. Shut the F a sec up. I shouted back at Brittany, cutting her off as she looked at me in horror for the first time, training my eyes back to Brandon, whose eyes were as wide as saucers. Probably because he was seeing me retorting to her like this for the first time. Well, did he thought? I would take this betrayal lightly. You knew that I was your mate from 1 year, and you still got together with my sister, and did her even when I was around you. I shouted, Jesus. That sounded so wrong. It's like you were asking him to do you. My conscience shouted, making me roll my eyes at her. She is your mate? My sister asked, horrified, looking at Brandon with disbelief. Alexis, I can explain. Let's calm down. It's not like what I wanted, but I am the future alpha of this pack. The pack needs a strong Luna and not a lantern. Like me, who didn't even turn into her wolf and is just a weakling. Right? So this is what it was all about. I completed it for him. Look, it's not like I am rejecting you or throwing you out of the pack. You can still live in the pack and I'll treat you as my mate. I'll fulfill all your responsibilities, however. You need to understand that as the alpha of the pack, I need a strong Luna, Brandon said, making me look at him with wide eyes. Is he the same guy that I had been infatuating for so many years? Just how twisted his thinking is. So he needs a strong Luna for the pack and himself, which undoubtedly is my sister. And what will I be? Just a fuck buddy. A baby providing and a desire-fulfilling machine. Whoa. You are surely a demanding alpha, Brandon, I commented, not believing my ears that this was the same guy who I was falling for. The same guy who was my mate, the guy who I have loved for so many years and wanted to marry. It's indeed true. Once you know how the thought process of a person is, you start to hate people. He is insulting you and us like this, and you are just standing there and taking it. If it would have been me, I would have killed him already, my conscience said, making me sigh again, as if that was possible. Can the conscience of someone kill a living person? That to be an alpha, scoffing at my thoughts. I looked at Brittany, who had an arrogant smirk on her face, and then at Brandon, who was waiting for my answer with a smile. He was expecting me to stoop so low like him. He was expecting me to accept all the bullies of the pack, and now this shameful arrangement just because I was a lantern. Because I don't have a wolf. Well, you have me. My conscience interrupted. You know, your offer is lucrative. I started, making Brandon smile more while Brittany's smirk got more arrogant. However, the fact that you are expecting your mate to accept everyone's bullying along with becoming your baby-making machine is enough to disgust me. Guess what? I may be a lantern, but I am not a slut, like my sister is. Even if I am not a beta, I still have high standards, I said while looking at Brandon. His face turned pale with his smile wiped off his face immediately. Brittany was also shocked by my words, but I haven't gotten to the most important part yet. I continued with a firm voice. Alexis Clark, the daughter of the moon goddess, hereby reject Brandon Sterling as my rightful mate because I can't live as a person who wants nothing from me apart from my body. I hereby announce my soul as a free soul and reject the mate bond with the alpha of the Black Mist Pack, and hereby decline the position of being the Luna of the Black Mist Pack and the mate of Brandon Sterling. I, Alexis Clark, also deny the pack bond from the Black Mist Pack starting today, and will be living my life as a free soul until I decide so. I finished, making their eyes go wide as I felt a scrutinizing pain in my body, as the pack bond started to break from my body, the shock in their eyes working as a mild painkiller for me. I am sure, even in his worst dreams, Brandon would have never imagined that he would be rejected like this. I could see Brandon clenching his jaws and fists, clearly feeling the pain of the rejection of the mate bond. I was in pain too. The pain of having all my fantasies about finding a mate has been crushed. However, this rejection pain of the mate bond and the pack bond was nothing compared to the pain I've suffered all these years. Today, I not only rejected these bonds, but I also rejected all the relations. Today, I promise myself to not let anyone influence me in the future ever again. Turning around towards my room, I packed my little belongings before keeping Mark's gift in my pocket and descended the stairs. Almost everyone in the pack house was gathered in the hall, as they all must have heard and felt my rejection of the pack and the alpha through their mind links. Turning up my family, that included my mom, whose eyes were brimming with tears, my dad, who was looking at me with animosity, and my sister, who was looking at me with a proud smirk. I smiled before saying, I wasn't a disgrace to the pack or the family. It was all of you, who were a disgrace to a werewolf species who couldn't cherish the only lantern in the pack when they are cared for like the child of the moon goddess out there. You all are a disgrace to humanity. And more than you guys, your alpha, who even after knowing I was his mate, for 1 year banged another wolf. The sacred mate bond that is created by the divine moon goddess is for the purpose of finding your true love. But our alpha thought that it was for the strength of the pack, an alpha who can't even accept his mate. Let's see how well he'll run this pack. I scoffed before walking out of the pack house, my tears flowing uncontrollably now that all the pain started to gush out of me. Shade. Don't cry. You've still got me, my conscience said, and I couldn't help but chuckle at her fake attempt of making me laugh. Let's see. How well can I survive his rogue world now? Alexis's Clark point of view. Wait. I smell someone's blood here, a female rogue, hiding behind the bushes. I heard a pack's patrol talking. They were searching for me as I tried to cross the pack borders again. Well, now there was one thing I knew for sure. I won't be able to stay here for more days. I need to find a new place again, only if I could hide from them. This time, too, I sighed, leaning beside the large tree, trying to wrap my bleeding wound around with a piece of cloth. Just as I was wondering how to get out, a voice rang out again. Captain, there's no suspicious sign here. All right, let's go back. As the leader's voice sounded, I heard the sound of the footsteps gradually becoming distant, not daring to stay any longer. I left the place at once and started running all the way into the deep forest. I didn't stop until I felt I was no longer being chased by anyone. Looking at the fruits in hand, I rolled my eyes when I realized they were just enough to last me 2 days. This time, the food was very little. To get these few things, I was almost found by the pack and died in the forest. It's been 3 months since I became a rogue, and I have been traveling around since then. To say a rogue's life was hard as hell would be an understatement. The thing that I disagreed with joining a rogue's group was an added benefit to my sufferings. After eating the apple after washing it in the lake, I removed the cloth from around my leg and noticed that the wound was almost healed. Washing the cloth in a small hole I made from my hands, I dried it on the tree trunk. You guys got that right. I was living a nomadic life now. You won't have to live this way if you take my words. I am telling you. Call Mark. He'll help us. They are the council. They are bound to help us. My conscience, which I must tell you all has a name, said again. She hated this nomadic life more than I did. She is just used to luxury living, I am telling you. My conscience is called Ariana. It calls itself my wolf, but I don't believe it. If I had a wolf, then I would have changed into one and not remain a lantern. A hated lantern at that. I wouldn't have suffered so much. If you've forgotten, I haven't recharged my mobile since. I don't know. I don't have any cash left, and I am not willing to go to the town. It makes me self-conscious, knowing all too well that they'll see me as a different one. I retorted before plummeting to the ground. To be honest, her idea was tempting, but I was afraid. I was afraid that the council won't have anything to do with a rogue who rejected her mate. I know you are afraid, Lexi, but to live a better life you will have to take that chance. You don't understand it, do you? It won't get easy as time passes. If anything, it will become harder each day. You are a female who has met her mate already. And keep in mind it was you who rejected him, not the other way around. You know about heat, don't you? Within a few months, you will go in your first heat. You would have gone already if you weren't a lantern. But remember this, once you go in your heat, you'll go in heat every month. What will you do then? Ariana asked. I'll manage just fine. I know what heat is. To fasten the mating process, the female goes into heat and becomes over-aroused with sexual desires for her mate. And the mate is attracted to his female, and they mate, leading to pregnancies most of the time. I rolled my eyes. No, darling. That's where you are wrong. When a female goes into the heat, her mate and all the unmated male wolves are attracted to her. You are a she-wolf in the wild alone. Just think what will happen when you'll go in the heat. You'll not only attract all the rogues around the area, but males from the pack too, she said. And I hate to admit it, but her words got to me. I don't know. Okay. For now, I need to start moving before they finally find my trail and hunt me down. I said before picking up my bag and, well, the fruits that I stole, walking alongside the banks of the river. I sang a song to keep myself company as it was boring. I thought traveling was fun, and I wanted to do a lot of it alone. But I don't think so anymore. It is fun, only when you have food to eat and a place to live. Otherwise, these jungles can become your worst nightmare. After traveling for a few hours, I opened the map of the packs that I had made just for fun in my geography class, and was now my biggest help, and noticed what pack was nearest to me. It's Manhattan Pack. I don't think I've heard their name in the dangerous packs, I said aloud, looking in the east direction, which will lead me to the pack borders, setting up a camp near the river, as this was no man's land where no pack can claim their stake. I took a bath in the river, wanting to wash my dirty and sweating body, wearing another set of clothes and combing my hair. I was about to eat my food, or should I say my stolen fruits, when I heard it. The sound of a twig snapping near me, quickly hiding behind the tree. I took out my dagger, ready to attack whoever the intruder was. Come on, come out. I've seen you, pretty girl. You should surrender yourself to us because it won't be good for you if we decide to force ourselves on you. I heard one of the three men says, from their stinky smell. I knew they were rogues. Stinky. Because most of the rogues out there don't bother with taking a bath and cleaning themselves. We are asking you politely, sweetheart. Come out while we are being good. I heard another man says, what should I do? Should I go out or not? I weighed the consequences, however. Knowing the being raped was not even in my dictionary, let alone a choice, I showed myself. Ooh, la. She got some booze. The man with the blonde hair said, making my gut retch with hatred, I don't mean any harm to you. Nor am I crossing your ways. I stay my way. You stay your way, I said in a nonchalant tone. Well, that's not what we want, baby. We want you to stay our way. We want to have some fun. Let us have some fun, then we will decide what way you will stay, the one with the brown hair said, making me look at them with disgust. Well, I was being nice too. I rolled my eyes before bringing out my dagger and throwing them at the three rogues. Each of them hits them in the heart, right on point. Haha. Like these little daggers can hurt us, the guy said before placing his hand on the dagger to take it out, making me tilt my head and look at them with the best innocent look I could muster. I know, cheapsters, but the wolfsbane on the dagger would surely do, I said, as one of them coughed out blood. Well, it was fast, I said, taking out my daggers and wiping them on their clothes to clean them, as I was cleaning my third dagger while the person in front of me was dying not so peacefully. I heard the snapping of another twig behind me, however. Before I could turn around and check what it was, I felt something pointed placed on my neck, making my eyes go wide. Turn around, rogue. I heard a deep voice that felt quite familiar to me. Turning around, I looked at the man who had placed the large dagger on my neck and couldn't help but feel stunned. Sebastian's point of view, if that's all, I said before, ending the call with a sigh. What else is scheduled for today, Blake? I asked my beta Blake, who looked at me with a tired sigh of his own. Things had been getting tiresome since we became the top pack in the world. The top and the most dangerous one? I know he needs some rest. And well, I need some rest too. But I also know that I need to fire up the security by 10 times because, with name and fame, danger also makes its way. I hated to be feared by my people because my people were my family. But for outsiders, I am tempted to live by the name Sinclair. Seb, in the meetings of the Alpha, a new issue was raised today, Blake said, and I looked at him with my quirked brow, an indication to keep going. It's about a rogue. A rogue that steals food from their packs and exits without leaving a trace. The rogue kills other rogues on his way. It is not something to be worried about, but if a rogue can enter a pack and exit without leaving its trace, it puts a large question mark on the security forces of the pack, Blake said, making me squint my brows. What other information do we have regarding this rogue? I said, massaging the space between my brows, knowing all too well that a new problem had been created that might take days to get solved. Honestly, I don't despise rogues. They just don't get on my nerves. I have killed more rogues than the days I had slept in the past year, thus claiming the name of the most dangerous pack. None. We have no information about this rogue, Blake said, making me sigh. Also, one of the council members called today. He said he is afraid a werewolf is living with humans. It's not bad to live in the same area as them if we can mask our scent nicely. But he said he has given a tip that the werewolf sleeps and eats with the humans too. Not to forget studying in the same university as them, Blake said, making me throw the chair across the room. These rogues. Why can they just follow the fucking rules? God damn it. Are they so hard to follow? And who the hell is this werewolf who dared to take such a step? I couldn't help but shout, my anger panting up now. Where is this? We're located. Let's go and solve this matter first, I asked, feeling the urge to shred some rogues and do some good killing again. That Alpha. I am afraid that the Weir studies in the same university that was created by you for humans to interact well with both the species and keep us in hiding well, Blake said, making my eyes shoot up. Studying in the same college that was created by me. This has to be some sick joke, right? He is living around here and breaking the laws while we are unaware of it. You are kidding me, right? If he is living in the same area as us, why couldn't we trace him? Are our wolves incapable that they couldn't smell a wolf living among humans and breaking laws? I said, banging the table, not being able to contain my frustrations. We are sorry, Alpha. We will get to it right away, Alpha. Can I excuse myself, Alpha? Melinda has found her mate and wants me to meet him, Blake said before bowing his head and leaving my office when I nodded at him. Mate. A taboo topic in front of me. Everyone was finding their mates. And just like everyone, I also found mine. Dead. It was the time when I had just turned 18 and was out on a business trip with my father after meeting with Alpha Killian and discussing the new alliance. My father went with him to his office to sign some documents. And since I wasn't needed, I stayed behind. Turning around, I thought of walking a bit to relax my nerves. And the wolf that was feeling unnecessarily stressed that day, as soon as I left their pack house. It was at that time when I felt it, mate. My wolf had chuffed in bliss, nodding at my wolf with a happy grin. I had followed the scent to look for my mate, and it wasn't long before I found her lying. Or should I say leaning on a tree. From her size and smell, I knew she was an Omega. But that doesn't matter to me as long as she is my mate. We were not cowards, and we would have loved our mate no matter what. However, as I started to near her, I saw and smelled another scent on her. A rogue. Her scent was entangled with it. And it only meant one thing. She has slept with the rogue. It hurt me. But more than that, it hurt my wolf. He was feeling a deep sense of betrayal. However, I still had some hope left in me. Maybe she did it under some circumstances. Maybe she was forced. Or maybe it's only because she hadn't found me and now that I'll go and tell her that I was her mate. She would come to me with a new burst of hope and positivity. I started walking towards her. And she must have felt my smell nearing her because as I was some distance away from her, I saw her eyes widening before she looked my way. Her large blue eyes pierced through my soul as I walked towards her in large strides. Mate? I said loudly this time. Hello, dear. My name is Sebastian. I am the to-be Alpha of the Blood Moon Pack. What is your name, sweetheart? I asked in the sweetest voice that even I didn't know I was able to make. Leave me alone. I don't want you. I don't want an Alpha to be my mate. No, No, that girl struggled. And each of her words was piercing through my heart. Sweetheart, I won't hurt you. I am your mate. I am supposed to love you, I said before losing her arms, afraid that my tight grip will hurt her more. I don't want you. I reject you. I reject you as my mate, she screamed in my face before running backward. Her words were so cruel and hurtful that they froze me to my place. How can a girl be this cruel? How can a wolf be this cruel to its mate? How can she reject me like this without knowing me, since she hadn't used her name and my name to reject me? I know the rejection process wasn't completed, and thus, wanting my answers to my questions as to why she was doing this with me, I had followed her for an omega. She was quick on her feet, however. When I found her, I saw her in a state that I never thought I would, and it left a deep scar in my heart. She was leaning on a tree, with a guy who had his organ shoved inside her, and they were enjoying a pleasurable session, growling at the rogue who was taking my mate right in front of me. I was about to pounce on him when I saw him slit her throat with a knife. If the scene earlier wasn't enough to break me, then her slitting throat sure was. Rushing towards her, I took her in my arms, crying as I wasn't able to do anything to save her. The silver-laced knife with wolfsbane won't let the wound heal, I saw, as she died in my hands. I cried silently for some time, my wolf telling me to stop it and get a grip over myself. It was truly strange how he was so calm about all of this. Maybe he was heartbroken by what she did to us and hated her. But I was different. I wanted her. I wanted my love. I wanted the only person who was bound to love me to take care of me, and from that day onwards rogues and omegas became a hateful species to me. Rogues more than omegas. I respect the omega of my pack, but I will never forgive a rogue because a rogue took away my only chance of getting and being loved. I was brought out of my thoughts when my phone buzzed with an incoming call. Hello, Alpha Sebastian. There's more information about the rogue that is hiding in the forests and stealing things. It's said that it became rogue after rejecting an alpha. The council head said, his words setting an alarm in my head, and I started seeing red. Looks like I need to do some hunting today. Alexis's Clark point of view. I love it so much. Oh. I moaned in pleasure as it melted in my mouth. Shut up and let me concentrate, okay? It's tough work to make you moan in pleasure. The man who was the reason for my pleasure said with a smirk on his face, I thought you were just muscles. But you've got some skills on your hand, boy. What else can you do with those skillful hands of yours? I couldn't help but ask. He was about to answer my question, when the door of the room in which we both were burst open with a loud bang. Guys, can you keep it low? I was studying, for God's sake. And Alexis, stop using such words. If anyone hears you right now, they would think you are having sex and not eating the food. The girl, or should I say, my new friend hollered with a glare, making me chuckle at her scowling face. But his cooking is so good. Come here, taste some. The pasta he has made is just, I said before taking another spoonful of pasta and stuffing it in my mouth. Girl, you have no manners whatsoever. By the way, I got mail for you. It was placed with this box on our doorstep. Mind checking it? I can't seem to find a name written over it. Seems like it's from another admirer of yours, Audrey said with a smirk before she kissed her boyfriend, who had made this loving pasta and helped herself with the food. Tearing open the envelope that had a knowing scent on it, I looked at the letter with a smile. Secret admirer, my foot. I am sure it is the letter about the rules I broke within this month. Reading the contents of the letter, I opened the box and was visibly surprised when I saw the jade pendant placed neatly. Well, it isn't that bad of a letter. Wow, that's pretty. Do you know or suspect anyone who can give that to you? Strangely, there was no name in it. I mean, if you are offering a girl such a beautiful gift, at least make sure that she knows of it. Audrey said, flailing her hands around dramatically. Calm down, babe. Looks like our Lexi has a secret admirer. And from the smile on her face, I think this secret admirer can have a chance. I mean, look at this beauty. Shane, her boyfriend said before sitting beside her. I looked at them before shaking my head at their behavior. They were the sweetest people I have known. And honestly, I was proud that I decided to come here and live with the sweet couple, even if it means breaking some laws. It doesn't matter to me anyway. I have grown much braver, stronger, and sarcastic from how I used to be. I like the current version of myself. Much better than the earlier one. The previous one was too soft, caring, humble, and emotional for my benefit. Guess, being a rogue for almost a year has its perk. I looked at the stamp at the bottom of the letter, and on the top of the gift box, and knew it was from the council. I don't blame these people for not knowing who it was or who the council was. They were humans. You guys heard that right. I was living with the humans, to whom even telling our identity was a sinful act in our community, and here was I, living peacefully with them, sleeping in the same apartment as them, and eating the same food as them. And did I mention going to the same university as them? Well, you heard that too. Rather than going to a werewolf college, I was going to a humans college with 0 werewolves. I heard the college was found by the alpha of the Blood Moon Pack, and he rarely comes here, which made this my perfect hiding spot. I was breaking some laws pretty badly, and even though the council knew about it and was issued about my choice, they couldn't do anything about it whatsoever. It was easy for me. Well, because I was a lantern to start with, and my scent was well hidden by the pendant that Mark had given me that day. 8 months ago, when I had made my first kill, or should I say first 3 kills, the person who had pointed the dagger at me was none other than Mark. To say he was furious would be an understatement. He looked like he would kill anyone who would come in his way. That day, after I killed the rogues, I felt someone pointing his dagger at me, making me turn around and look at the person. However, before I could turn around and see who it was, I heard his voice. Finally, I was able to find you, my Omega. I heard a deep, throaty voice, and I couldn't help but squeal in surprise before I turned around and hugged Mark, which was reciprocated by Mark immediately. Don't you dare think that I will let you off easily just because you hugged me? What the hell, Alexis? How could you do this to me after I put so much effort into making sure that you were living happily? Why didn't you ever tell me that you were treated so poorly? He said before looking at me with a disappointed look, and then continuing again. And most importantly, why didn't you call me when your mate cheated on you and you rejected him? Who asked you to run away like this? Why didn't you call me when you were out there in the wild, practicing being a rogue? Didn't I say to open that box when you feel the need of someone? You didn't even check it? I am sure. How can you do this? Do you have any idea how hard I tried to find you? I even circulated your information to all the packs and told them to find you. Do you have any idea how dangerous? Hearing his blabber like this, I couldn't help myself but feel at home. He has been the only guy for the last 4 years who had been believing in me and treating me like a normal being, and not a person with a wolf disability. Feeling my eyes watering at his caring attitude, I couldn't help but hug him tightly. I was scared. I was scared that you would loathe me, and why not? After all, I rejected my mate even when I was just a lantern. I thought the council would not care about me anymore, and I didn't want to be abandoned by you guys too. That's why I thought I should leave the place before any more people abandon me because of my situation and condition, I said before. Turning around, not wanting to look into his eyes. Alexis, are you for real? Mark said before. He turned me around forcefully to look into his eyes. Do you think I was going around madly looking for you because it was my dad's orders? I freaking care for you, damn it. Couldn't you see it? Besides, we knew that you were going to reject your mate. Last year on his birthday, we already knew that he was your mate. If you didn't notice, it was only after last year that I have been coming to visit you more often compared to the last 3 years. Mark said, making my eyes go wide. So you knew the truth all along. Why didn't you tell me about it? I couldn't help but whisper to him, wanting to blame them a bit for my miseries. However, deep down, I already knew the answer to my question. Of course, they couldn't tell me. The purpose of my whole life depended on finding my fucking mate and loving him endlessly. We didn't tell you because we knew you won't be able to take the pain of rejection at your 17 years old self because you didn't even have the power and support of your wolf. Which you now have. My wolf? I asked. His words had my sole attention now. You didn't think that you don't have a wolf, right? So, I have a wolf, you will know, when the right time comes. Now, let's go back to the council mansion. I've decided that I will take care of you until you decide what you need to do further. Mark said, making me roll my eyes at him. After getting out of that measly pack, does he think I'll risk my freedom just so that he can take care of me? Of course not. I am not coming. What do you mean? You are not coming. I mean, I am going to take my admission in a human's college and complete my graduation. I want to live my life as a normal being, and not just a werewolf without a wolf. I will live among humans because they'll treat me like a human, and not as a disgrace to society. Besides, I need to flaunt my beauty somewhere. If werewolves don't like me, so what? I can always find love outside the species. It's not like we are the only species in the world. I explained my decisions, and I knew as much as he hated to agree with it. He would have to comply with my decisions, because I was a rogue. Now, fine. But I'll be deciding which pack borders you can explore, and which pack you cannot. Okay, Daddy, I said, rolling my eyes. Don't call me that because you wouldn't like to see the end of it, Mark said with a dark gaze, and I couldn't help but blush scarlet red at his comment. Here, keep this pendant with you. I don't know why, but when I started searching for you, I already had a premonition that you won't agree to come with me. This pendant will hide your scent perfectly, Mark said, placing the pendant on my neck before placing a soft kiss on the corner of my mouth. How much I wish Mark was my mate. But the moon goddess has to fuck with my destiny and play with my happiness. No, always remember, no matter what happens, I am always there for you, he had said before hugging me tightly. End of flashback. By the way, have you heard about it? Audrey asked me with her mouth full of pasta. What the hell is she talking about? If you can get your mind out of food, maybe you'll be able to concentrate on what she is saying. You dummy. My conscience reprimanded me, making me roll my eyes at her. She is talking about the surprise visit of the founder of the college. He is coming to check and see if everything is working fine and going all right, Shane said, and I couldn't help but squint my brows. The founder of the college. Isn't that the current ruling alpha of that dangerous pack, Alpha Sebastians? The alpha was coming. But why? Does that mean my cover is blown? Or someone has nitpicked about me? Or was it just a casual visit, casual or formal? I can't bear with him finding the truth about me no matter what. I want to live a bit longer. You guys can attend. I suddenly feel a bit sick, I said, faking my health. Well, it always works. It's a strict order from the deans of all the departments that no one can miss the college tomorrow, or she will be given 100 points of demerit, Audrey said. A 100 what? I thought, my eyes going wide at her words. You've got to be kidding me. If I get a 100 points demerit, then I'll only be left with 20 points and won't be able to pass the semester. I will have to repeat my year. Maybe if I can manage to dodge the alpha, I'll be able to save my ass, moon goddess. You have a way to make things hard for me, don't you? Alexis's, Clark, point of view. Don't get so worked up about it. It's just a day with only 3 lectures. You'll have to bear with being in the university, and risk your life for 3 lectures only. 2 of which are early in the morning, and 1 is in the afternoon. The alpha of the Blood Moon pack obviously won't come here early in the morning. Right? You can do this, Alexis. This fear is only in your brain. With this pendant, no one will be able to recognize your real identity. Just remember how many rogues you've killed in the past and had gone through so many packs without them being able to trace your scent. You can do this. You are awesome and will go through this too. You can't let the 1 year of struggle go to waste. I prepared myself, wanting to gather the courage to face the big day today. Lexi. Are you okay? You look a bit pale today. Are you seriously sick? Audrey asked, as she looked at me standing in front of the mirror for the last 20 or so minutes. Was I okay? How can I be okay? I don't know why I was feeling like this, but it felt like my cover was going to be busted today since I heard that the alpha was coming to check upon the university. I've been talking to myself about how I can do it and get over with these lectures. But no matter how much I talk myself through it, whenever the image of the world's most feared alpha flashes through my mind, I feel like my legs go jelly. He was feared by everyone for a reason. I haven't seen him personally because all information about him is locked by the council. And you cannot look up an alpha's information without telling them the reason behind it. To be honest, I never felt like I had to look up his information or something. It was clear to me. Never cross paths with him. And I had never thought that I would meet him in any condition. Guess this is what we call an evil fate. And my friends, I am blessed with it. Yeah, are you ready? Let's go, or we will be late, I said, mustering up the best smile I could. I have been sitting here ready to go for the last 30 minutes, if not for you who has been checking her reflection for the last 20 minutes. Are you worried about your image in front of the founder of the university? Don't worry, babe. Even in sickness, you are the prettiest girl in the college. Audrey winked, and before I could reply to her, Shane entered the room. Shane? Can you knock? We are girls for God's sake, Audrey shouted at him with widened eyes, looking at me with an apologetic expression that I waved off with the flicker of my hands. I don't even have the energy to feel offended by anything else. When my life and all my accomplishments of a year are at stake, my brain was too occupied to care about these measly things. I am sorry, sweetheart. I thought you were alone. I didn't know Lexi was with you, Shane said, and looked at me apologetically when I exited the room and joined them. It's nothing, I said before I picked up my purse, my heart feeling a slight pang when I look at the lovely couple. If my mate wasn't a dick, then I would have been like them too. If he was as loving as Shane is to Audrey, then I wouldn't be going through all of this in the first place. We would have been living happily in that pack. And though everyone was mean to me, the love of my mate would have fulfilled all of it. And they would have respected me because I would have been their Luna. How romantic would it have been? Come on. Can you stop going into the flashbacks and your imaginary sensations that won't ever be true in the real world? I mean, start living in the present. And our present is that we are going to face the world's most dangerous alpha today. Ariana, aka my so-called fake wolf, groaned, making me roll my eyes at her after reaching the campus grounds. I looked at Audrey and Shane, my eyes watering a bit. I know it was hard, but I need to make this clear right now. I've been breaking some laws, but now was the time to move out of their flat and find another place temporarily. I didn't want them to get in trouble because of me. They are among the few people who've accepted me, and I would even trade my life for them. Taking a deep breath, knowing how hard it is going to be, I looked at them briefly before starting. Guys, there are still some minutes left until the lecture. Can we talk? Sure, Lexi. We are listening, Audrey said with a bright smile that made me feel worse than I already was. I am leaving the room. What do you mean you are leaving the room? If you are going on one of your trips again, then let me remind you that your points are already low. And no, I am not going on a trip. I am just leaving your room. I will live separately from now on, I said, cutting off Audrey, making her eyes go wide. Lex, if this is about what happened today, then I am sorry, but it's not about that. I just think I need to start living on my own. I have been living under your care for quite long, I said, cutting off Shane in between. What are you talking about? You pay 60% rent, not to mention the food that you bring daily to feed us. How is it that you are living under our care? It's more like we are living in this room because of you, Audrey said, her eyes brimming with tears while she held my hand into hers. It broke my heart to see her like this. And I know my heart was already melting from her tears. What a softie. My conscience, Ariana said, and I seriously wanted to slap this so-called fake wolf for always interrupting at times like this and making me feel like a child. Hey, it's not like I am going forever. Remember, I have a house near the river I have once mentioned. I am gonna live there for some time. It's temporary, I promise, I said, smiling at her reassuringly, mentally face-palming myself for the promise I made. Now, I can't even go back on my words because I hate breaking promises, and those who break their promises. Are you sure about it? I mean, if it's about me. Shane started, and I couldn't help but feel guilty about it. It's not about that. I promise. You guys are the best thing this college gave me. And I mean it. Let's attend our classes now, I said, hugging both of them. But promise that you'll meet me at the college daily, Audrey said, making me smile at her naivety. If only they knew what a monster I was. They would never get this close with me. Maybe even fear and run far away from me, smiling bitterly at the thought. I smiled at them one last time before turning and walking towards my department. Ping. Ping. My phone's notification sounded, making me squint my eyes. Checking my phone, I noticed it was from the college's forum. Hey, the founder of the university has already come here. He is pretty handsome, I read, rolling my eyes before scrolling to the last notification. My professor told me that he will be visiting the biotechnology department first, because he is very fond of it. I can't wait to meet him. My friend said that they have entered the corridor. Was the last comment on the thread, and I couldn't help but pause in my steps. Biotechnology department. What will a murderer like him do in the biotechnology department? Wait. Don't tell me he is sponsoring some werewolf bane project in the name of invention. I thought, my eyes going wide with the thought of it. Whatever he was doing, I am sure he is up to no good. But the main question now is, should I go and take this lecture, or wait for him to exit the department? Why? Because I was studying biotechnology. It was my favorite subject, and I loved it. I was standing in the middle of the corridor, contemplating if I should enter the next corridor that will lead to the biotechnology department, or not, when I smelled it. The scent of wolves, lifting my eyes from my phone. I looked at the 5 pairs of scrutinizing eyes that were looking my way with a mixture of suspicion and confusion. Can I get a second chance at life, please? Or can someone make me go 20 minutes back in time so that I can run away from here? No, sweetie. None can happen. You and I both need to face this, Ariana said, making me roll my eyes at her. Well, thanks, Miss Obvious, I thought before looking in the front again. Sebastian's point of view. Alpha, we are ready to go. I heard my beta's voice, making me nod at him before I turned and checked my reflection one last time. Do your reflection even matter when you are going to do nothing but either kill him or lock that lawbreaker? We're in the dungeon, my wolf said, making me roll my eyes at him. What a wolf like him will understand. He is not the one who has to look presentable all the time, going around naked without a shame in the world. I am going there as the founder of the university, and not a rogue killing alpha, remember? I scoffed, checking the reflection one last time. I nodded myself before wearing my shades and exiting my room. Honestly, I don't know what I will do with this werewolf, or criminal to be precise. For we're to be living among humans was unheard of, and if he is living among the humans for so long, then he must have his reasons for that. But we can't deny the fact that he indeed broke the laws by committing such a thing. Living with humans. I will surely teach him a good lesson today. Honestly, the thing that amazed me more was the fact that even though our PAX patrol had been visiting the university from time to time, yet no one was able to identify the smell and recognize him. How can this be possible? A werewolf can hide his scent in only 3 ways. First, if he is associated with witches and a witch helped him hide the smell. Second, if he is a lantern with no werewolf qualities, i.e., a human born among werewolves, or if he has the scent pendant that hides the scent of a person, since it was a member of the council who gave me the tip about a werewolf living among humans. The third one can't be possible because only council members have the authority over those pendants. According to me, the second possibility was more feasible than the first one. Maybe he was born a human, and thus, he didn't want to live with werewolves, and came to live with humans, no matter which way he's using to hide. Today, he's dead. Alpha, we are here, Blake said, bringing me out of my thoughts. Okay, I said before getting out of the car, looking at the university that was found by me under the name of my mother and father. Well, it's been a long time since I last visited this. Turning around, I looked at the guys before nodding at them. along with me and my beta. My third in command. Luke, Jason, Alex, and Peter was here. Let's go, I said before we started moving inside the main hall of the university, where the chancellor was probably already waiting for us. And just how I had guessed, the chancellor was standing there with a large bouquet and an even larger smile on his face. Well, at least someone was happy with our random visit. However, I would like to see how that werewolf will react when he sees me. Mr. Sinclair, to what honor did we receive your surprise visit? He said with a quirked brow. No occasion. I just wanted to see how the university is doing. It's been 3 years since I last visited, right? I also wanted to see the biotechnology department today. I want to know how the equipment is doing, and if they are well used or not. That's my favorite one, I said, remembering how my mother was always busy with research and other things related to different herbs. Sure, why not? How about we first talk about the progress of the departments, and then I'll guide you through all the departments. Starting with biotechnology, he said, making me shake my head. With that, I directly started moving towards the biotechnology department, with the chancellor tagging behind me. I was here to catch the werewolf, and I can't afford to waste any time. The reason why I had to come myself and find the hidden werewolf was that being the strongest alpha out there, my senses were 10 times stronger than the normal alphas, and even the slightest change in a person's scent was enough for me to detect the species of that person. A thing that I was naturally gifted with. Let's see what magic, pendant, or qualities will save that werewolf from me. Walking towards the biotechnology department, I stopped midway when I smelled a weird scent wrapped with lavender and roses. The scent of a werewolf. Well, that was quick. Looks like my prey is himself coming towards me without knowing that I am here to catch him. Alpha. What is it? Jason asked me as I stopped in my tracks. I think I found the hiding werewolf, I said through the mind links, making all of them nod as they followed behind me while I followed the smell. After taking another turn, I stopped dead in my tracks, opening my eyes that I had closed so that I could feel the faint scent much accurately. I looked in front of me. However, the scene in front of me wasn't what I had expected. In front of me was a female silhouette standing. And not just any silhouette, she was probably the most beautiful girl in the world, gazing at her. As we all stopped at some distance, from the panic in her eyes, I knew that she was the werewolf we were trying to find. So the werewolf who has been hiding from us for so many months, and living under our nose sneakily, was a female, a she-wolf. Was my patrol this week now that they couldn't catch a hiding she-wolf? I couldn't hold the contempt in my thoughts, even when she was so beautiful. Sebastian's point of view. Damn. She is really beautiful, ain't she? My wolf hollered, making me look at him with complicated eyes. I wanted to say that he was a creep for thinking like that. However, I can't deny the fact that he was right about this thing. I was contemplating on what punishment I should give such a beautiful and amazing-looking girl when she walked towards us. The earlier panic that was evident in her eyes was completely gone, or she had deliberately hidden it from us to show herself as strong. Whatever it was, she was looking very confident walking like that towards us. From your recognizable eyes, it is clear that you already know what I am. You guys are the people sent by the Alpha to get to me, right? She asked. And once again, I felt confused. Werewolf or no werewolf. Everyone in our species held the power to recognize the power and position of the other wolf through their aura. Didn't she recognize me as the Alpha Sebastian, the strongest alpha in the world? Even if she was not able to recognize me as Sebastian, she still would have been able to know that I was an alpha. This, Blake started, but for some reason I was tempted to hide the truth from her. I wanted to see if she could really not recognize me, or was just playing a game. And thus, I stopped Blake through my mind link. Don't tell her the truth, I said. And everyone nodded their heads at me. Yes, we are. And who you might be, I asked. Can't you see that? I am a werewolf. Well, a werewolf without a wolf, if you know what I mean, she said, rolling her eyes at me. And though it was highly disrespectful for someone to roll their eyes at an alpha, I just couldn't bring myself to get angry with her. She looked cute to me, rolling her eyes like that. You are a lantern, I asked more than stated. You guessed it right, Mr. Obvious. So, I am bad with ranks. Let me introduce myself, and then you guys can introduce yourselves to me before I go back to my class. Thanks to your alpha, if I don't go to my class today, I'll receive a 100 points to merit, which will render me unable to pass this year, she said, making me turn to look at the boys with a smirk. Well, this is interesting. She was scared for her points more than the fact that she was standing in front of the werewolves that might be here to take her away with them. And that it could be the last day of her life. I am Blake, the beta of the pack, I said shamelessly, making Blake cough awkwardly, and others widened their eyes. Well, I needed some rank as a cover for myself, and being beta is the best cover for me. Shrugging my shoulders, I was proud of my imaginations when they were brutally crushed by the girl standing in front of me. I said I'll introduce myself. Are you low on IQ or something? She said to me, making my wolf holler in laughter. And I couldn't help but squint my brows at her. Even if she didn't recognize me as the alpha, I was at least the beta while she was just a lantern. The least she could do is respect me. The nerve of this girl. Calm down, Sebastian. You are here to solve the case of this lantern, and you can't just solve everything by killing. You have a report to make, remember. I told myself to calm myself down before I looked at her once again. Sure. I started but was cut off when she raised her hand in the air to stop me, gazing at her phone. She looked at the caller ID and smiled before smiling at us. I need to take this call, she said before walking at some distance from us. Alpha. Why would you do that? The girl is so disrespectful. How can you even smile when she is like that? Luke, the always hot-tempered one, said, We can't punish her so easily, Luke. She is not as easy as she looks, I commented, looking at the girl who had a squinted expression on her face before she smiled in delight. Why would you say that, Alpha? Because the person who called her just now is Mark Michelson, and if I am right, Mark is the son of the council head. Why would a member of the council call a lantern who is hiding in a human's university? Also, you guys might not have noticed, but I saw the scent pendant on her neck. There is more to this story than it shows. And did you notice? Even when I used the hard gaze on her, she didn't even flinch for a second, let alone submit to me, I explained, making them nod their heads. As far as I know, no lantern is capable of such a thing. Or maybe my theories are wrong because I have never met a lantern in real life. It could be anything. And the truth will be known only after I make her tell everything to me. I think the situation is a bit complicated and twisted, and I'll have to call Mark to know the details of it, sighing loudly as she ended her call. I leaned on the pillar, waiting for her to return so that we could continue this topic. Yeah, so where were we? Introduction, right? Hi, I am Alexis Clark, a lantern as you already know. I have been hiding in this university for a year now. My parents and pack have abandoned me and I live under my care. She introduced, making my eyes go wide for real this time. She had been living all by herself without anyone to support her. How did she manage for a year like this? For the first time, my resolution of hunting down the rogues began to stagger.